Okay, so you're about to watch me at the limit. I'm now at the upper limit of my capabilities. I don't know how the rest of this is going to work. But essentially, in the last video, we set up our 11 Labs conversation or agent named Patrick. It's going to be the first iteration of this. And then what I found out is that um, even though 11 Labs, uh, call history, has a transcription here, you can't download it. And you can only download the audio. So then I was like, well, why would that happen? And I asked, and it turns out they don't surface publicly the transcription. You'd have to come in and copy and paste. So it gave some ideas, which was essentially to call the API, download the MP3 audio version, run it through and it gave some like reasons for it, which I guess I can hear. I mean, I guess I can understand. But it said use something like Whisper or another like speech to text tool. So, like I said, I'm at the limit of my understanding of how all this works. Um, so I can add a webhook. Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm at my limit. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go here and see if Bolt can help me since it can code too. I guess I'm just gonna talk frankly. I built an agent on 11 Labs. Let's go ahead and I don't think you can read this, but you never know. That a reference can call to give their reference on a candidate. However, 11, so that right? 11 Labs will not allow me to download the transcription, only the audio. Can you write? How would I do this? I really don't know. Can you write? I need the audio transcribed so that we can use our scoring algorithm to determine the level of candidate fit for each position, for a position in the application. Assume need OpenAI to help take the transcription of the audio and overlay it on top of the job description and determine the score. However, I don't know how to get the audio from 11 Labs and then transcribed. Any advice? See if that works. I'm hoping it'll build something for me. But I didn't want to tell it to build something for me because I didn't want it to erase what we had already built, which is what it's doing right now. Okay, first you need to get the audio from 11 Labs, but you can't get the transcription. Download the audio file. Okay, convert it. Whisper API. Then use OpenAI, transcribe the audio. Finally use GPT to analyze his job description. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's going. Enter OpenAI. What? Process reference audio function when you receive a new reference recording. What? Wait. So where'd you put it? Okay. Is there an API from 11 Labs? You need the voice ID. No. Is this it? Copy agent ID. You need the agent ID 11 Labs to pull the audio transcription via the API? Question mark? I have no idea what I'm doing. You guys have to understand. This is why like this like new technology is a game changer for me as someone with a lot of ideas that has worked in a lot of business contexts and helped a lot of startups like launch and get off the ground and go to market strategy and things like that. I could never write all this code. Even if I knew code, I couldn't do it this way. So this is like a game changer for me because I don't know what I'm doing. I just know kind of like what I want it to be. Not kind of. I know exactly what I want it to be. I know exactly what the experience should be for all the users involved, including candidates, now and in the future, down to a granular level of what their experience should be, what their customer journey should be, how much they should pay, things like that. Not necessarily how much they should pay, but this is like a game changer because there's no way I could build this. And even though it seems tedious right now, I think we're on video 10, 11. I didn't have to like learn all this stuff. We need to integrate with the 11 Labs API. Okay, cool. I still think you need my agent ID. Okay, function to accept. I don't think I have. Oh, do I have to pay extra? I might have to pay extra, which is fine. I'm going to open up a new tab because I don't want to expose anything. 11 Labs. Because I'm not sure where my API key is. Oh, create an API key. What do I want to name it? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to have to pause this because I don't want y'all to see this key, just in case I mess it up somehow. So come back over here and pause this real quick. Okay, so did the API work for OpenAI um, and 11 Labs, and so now it's time to just kind of work with it to well, so essentially it told me how to do it, and I was like, no, I don't just want the item ID. Um, I actually want it to be associated with every agent. So let's see. How would I do this? I want the application fetch all calls that come through an agent of 11 Labs, and then to pull the audio and push to the whisper for transcription. How do we do that? Essentially telling me to do something that I didn't want to do, and I'm like, okay, let's refocus. I need you to help me with something else. Let's refocus. Pull for new calls automatically. Process new calls as they come in. Fetch call history from the API. See, I don't need to do that. Identification for new calls and processing statuses. Okay, see? Okay, I'm just going to have it fix that because pull new calls every 30 seconds. Like, I don't think it needs to be that often. I thought it was going to be more like a post get situation. Like anytime a call gets hung up, it would automatically transcribe it. So I'm a little kind of like, sometimes the AI will just be doing too much. And I know that I want it to be very simple. And it's not really being simple right now because I just need it to just retrieve the audio. All right, we're still cooking. This stuff, it's starting to take a while because we really need to get to this concept of I see what's happening now. Okay. So okay. So now I need to, when a call is pulled call audio is pulled from the 11 Labs API and transcribed via Whisper. We need to set up a knowledge base and prompt for how GPT OpenAI's GPT can process the transcription and create a score for the candidate based on the job description that they have applied for. Okay, so essentially what I'm trying to tell it is like, okay, we need to get to the next step. And the next step, and I'm just kind of talking to it in plain language because right now I'm a little stuck trying to figure out, you got stuck trying to figure out the nuances of how this is built. And instead, I just need to build it. And then the nuances can come after we're testing it. Because right now I can't test anything until we build it out. And so we kind of have to push through the building for a little bit until we can get the core testing. Because the thing that we're about to test, or the thing that we need to build before we can test, is we got to build out the whole scoring thing. So we got to go from building out the agent to getting the audio, which we did in the last video. Now we have to basically do all this in one video. We have to pull the audio from via the API from 11 Labs. We have to then transcribe it, which I had hoped that 11 Labs would do, and we could just pull their API, but it can't. So we had to pull in another API. This is where stuff gets costly. These GPT wrappers, whatever they want to call them. And so these, sorry, again, still not feeling 100%. So then we have to take that transcription from Whisper, push that to either GPT-4 or O1 to figure out like how we can score the reference based on our scoring rubric that we set up, and also based on the job description. So we're going to take these three pieces: the transcription of the reference. Is that right? The transcription of the reference, the job description, and we should equal out the candidate score. So we're going to do that. So now we're going to see what it did. Yeah, I want to give you the scoring system and the prompt. Do that. Okay, so essentially what it did is it tried to like do it for me, and it's like, nah, I already did the research to make this like fair and not unbiased. So now I'm saying, hey, like, I understand what you did, but it's kind of like not good enough. I gotta get my charger, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, let's see what it came up with. Yeah, I have my own prompt in scoring. How do I get that into the application? So it's still trying to do stuff for me. It's like I just told it that I had I want to give you the scoring system in the prompt. And it was like, okay, I've updated the system. And it's like, no. Nah, that's not how we're doing this. Because what it should do is it should ask you, but it might not. Oh, okay. So it's forcing me to do it. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I am going to hold on 1 second. All right. So keep in mind, I've already done that, so I don't need to do any of what it's saying. I have my own custom. So I'm going to put the. I'm going to say this is the. All right. I'm going to basically pull this whole thing again. Um, you're kind of relying on it to be smart, but sometimes it's not. For the scoring algorithms, then here is the knowledge base. Hope we can take this context window. We're going to help it out just a little bit. Thought I deleted these. Turns out I didn't. I'm just guessing that was going to backfire on me. Input ethic and reliability score. Leadership score. Input adaptability raw score. Score. Okay. I don't think that's going to work. But hey, we do what we can. It's just a bunch of guesses. Just a bunch of guesses. All right, so you did that. I gotta delete these, dude. Ain't nobody mean them. I'm gonna forget one of these days. Because here's how kind of you're doing it. When you're getting so deep and you aren't able to test every single like new update because everything's happening on the back end right now. That's why this document, I call it a Gen Prompt Framework doc. It's kind of like a PRD. That's where it comes into play because, yeah, you really are kind of, you don't particularly know how far back you need to go to correct a mistake. And so, so that was the knowledge base. So now we got to do the prompt. So, see, this isn't detailed enough. Aiming to score candidates that are applying for a job. You have our two inputs. Okay, I'm hoping since they are the same, you're really not gonna find like two. My worry is that if I do this along with the grading analysis, um, if I separate them and make it shorter, like it won't capture everything I need to. But if I do both of them, it'll actually over evaluate, and it might change the validity of the score. It's like if you ask someone to clean something and you ask someone else to go behind them and clean again, you won't know how good of a job the first person did because the second person came and kind of overwrote it, right? And so we really want to, that's what I'm trying to evaluate right now, is figuring out like where the prompt starts. Who are applying for a job, all that you have are two inputs. Your task is to identify key job requirements from input A. Analyze, oh, here we go. Using your, oh, wow, my fingers are slipping. Using your knowledge base. Across the relevant dimensions. Then you will use the knowledge base to assign scores. How about this? You will assign scores to each dimension based on the weights provided in your knowledge base. Essentially what I'm trying to do is make it continuously like refer back to the knowledge base so that it's not, it's kind of like that example that I gave about two people cleaning. It's the second person is repeatedly going back and being like, okay, like what was not clean about it? What things were they supposed to focus on? So that's why I'm saying, go back to your knowledge base so that they don't overwrite each other, but they might do some overlapping. Okay, let's try it, dude. I don't know if this is gonna work. All right, here is the prompt for the GPT-4 model. It's great to update as the knowledge base. Again, right here, I'm saying, hey, like, don't let this override anything. You got the knowledge base. Here's something completely new, but still tied into the same function. To leverage to come up with a candidate score. Oh man, and then this might be it for today. So I think after this, we got to set up Superbase because now we got to, in order to log the candidate score and the job description and test it more, we have to, and do a reference through 11 Labs, we have to have persistence when it comes to the job description and the candidates that are potentially going to be a good or bad fit for our job description. Um, okay, so did all that. So now I know that here, if I go up here, just did the grading. So all of that, the last two videos were just for this part. That's it. It's just this sentence is all the last two videos. We still have a little more to do, but we're getting closer for sure. We're closer than we are to finishing than we are to starting. So that's nice. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. But it's nice to be in the home stretch. And again, we got to test it. So we might not be as close to home stretch as I think we are. I just am confident after building a few of these that that once we test it, we'll have a really good idea of how much kept and how much we need to like update. I think it's largely going to be with the 11 labs taking a whatever, because it's doing like a polling that's going to come every 30 seconds. is going to check in with the 11 Labs thing. Oh my gosh, I just realized if it's going to pull, it needs to know what voice ID to use. Here is the ID. Because I don't want it to pull for the other application that I ran for the 11 Labs integration to pull the audio transcriptions from. All right, if you remember, I had asked it a couple times, do you need the agent ID? And it said no. Sometimes you have to tell it to stop. It keeps removing the APIs, so I'll have to work on that in a second. All right, but do you see that outcome? I don't know if you saw that, but the outcome was essentially right here. It says it will now only, even though I'd asked it, sometimes you got to force it. Because it's like I had asked it, like, how do I make sure that it's only coming from one call? And like, it never told me how. But fortunately, I have dealt with Zapier enough times to know that, like, no, that ID is for a reason. And there's a reason. The assistant will not only process calls from the agent with that ID. So it'll filter out all the calls from that specific agent. And the reason I did that is I realized that, hold on one second. Sorry about that. My computer's about to die. I realized that the only way that it wouldn't know. So it would be pulling in all types of conversations. And so I had a feeling that if I just force fed it, like, hey, here's an agent ID, like, pay attention to it, it would eventually realize that it wasn't supposed to do anything else. And because 11 Labs doesn't allow you to create an API specifically for an agent, I figured somewhere in their API documentation that there'd be a way to single out a specific agent, which will help us later on because I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have to develop new agents for every customer of reference one. And I'll go through why at a later point. This has been a long video. See y'all next time.